Hello, and in today's video we are doing EFL Championship season predictions for the 2024 to 25 season. That's right, we're back with content on the Roberto the Hornet channel, and it's the big one, predicting how the season EFL Championship will go. We will be following this with, of course, our Premier League season predictions, and don't forget to watch my Match Week 1 EFL Championship score predictions. It's going to be tasty. So, we're going to quickly run through each of the clubs, what transfer business they've made so far, and based on that and my initial views of teams, where I think each club will finish in the EFL Championship this season. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first team we've got here are Blackburn Rovers. Now, as Blackburn's transfer business this summer has consisted of the following. They have made a few signings, the likes of Yuki Ohashi. We've also had Makar Gay, Ayudan Doherty, Andreas Weimann, which is interesting. He was linked with a move to Watford. But yeah, he's gone from Bristol City on a free transfer. We've also got Danny Bath from Norwich and Jack Barrett. I have to be honest, other than Weimann, not heard of any of those. Main, sales for them, obviously Sam Gallagher, John Fleck, also, and Jake Garrett, on a free transfer, did end up. There was another Jake Garrett, but it's not Jake Garrett, it's Jack Barrett that's joined. So it's a bit confusing, but yeah. What do I rate their business? I'm not that fussed about it, to be honest. I might not know some of these players, but I think they'll have an okay season, Blackburn. I don't know if they'll tear up trees, though. So, yeah, it's one of those, I think. Bristol City, though. Let's talk about Bristol City. Well, they've brought in Sinclair Armstrong from QPR, which is a decent signing. But obviously they've let go of Weimann. They've let go of Matty James and Andy King. So, a few departures there that are quite interesting. Burnley, well, of course, they brought in quite a lot of players, notably Vlaklav Hadlaki from Ipswich Town, and Arijanat Muric has gone the other way to Ipswich after their promotion into the Premier League, so that's quite interesting. I've heard of Maxime Esteve as well. I think he was previously playing for them, so he's definitely confirmed on a permanent. And I've also heard of Mike Tresor, who I think was already there. So it's an okay window for Burnley. Obviously, you've got Scott Parker as the new manager. That'll be interesting to see how he gets on. So yeah, some decent business. Obviously, Peacock Farrell's on. They've also sold Charlie Taylor to Southampton. And Jack Cork has gone, as well as Assignon has also left the building. So, Cardiff City up next. Obviously, they've let Chris Willett come into the club. That's a great signing from QPR. Also, they have signed Callum Chambers from Aston Villa, who wasn't getting any game time at Aston Villa, so that makes sense. That's a logical move. The other thing they've done is they have brought in Anwar El Ghazi, the other ex-Villa player, which is very interesting. Obviously, he had a big kind of lack of minutes in the Premier League with Everton after his move from Villa. But yeah, he's back for more, Anwar El Ghazi. So, for Championship quality, I know he's 29, he's getting on, but he's decent. So, I think that could be a really nice signing from Cardiff, that. They've also let go of Shea Ojo, attacking winger. Romain Sawyers has gone. So a few interesting departures there for Cardiff. Coventry City, well, the main thing to say is that Brandon Thomas Asante has come in, which I think is a really good move. He did really well at West Brom, and Coventry will look for a big, challenge for promotion this season. And I'm, quite impressed with that. But the main sale for them, of course, is Callum O'Hare to Sheffield United. We've also seen there Matty Godden has gone. Liam Kelly as well has gone to Rotherham. So, yeah, some interesting transfers there. Derby County, obviously promoted last season, back in the Championship. And they've got a few interesting, in terms of buys. Ben Osborne from Sheffield United, a decent player. Also, they've brought Jerry Yates, previously at Swansea after being at Blackpool. Yeah, good centre forward, no doubt about it. Very good centre forward for Derby, so that's a good signing. And I've heard of Blackett Taylor as well. In terms of sales, Conor Hourihane, of course, has gone to Barnsley. Martin Vaghorn as well has left, as has Dwight Gale. And yeah, Jerry Yates, obviously, it was the end of his loan. So in a way, he's kind of joined on a loan, but then it's a loan as well. So it's a weird one with that. Hull City then. Now, Cody Drammer's the main one they brought in from Leeds, so good signing that one. Ryan Giles as well, Luton player, solid left back. So yeah, he was kind of one of the Luton's better fullbacks in the Championship the season they got promoted to the Premier League. Ozan Tufan has left. We've seen Jacob Greaves go to Ipswich. Also, Ryan Allsop in goal has gone to Birmingham. Jaden Philogene, of course, has joined Aston Villa. Adama Traore, their Adama Traore, not the Fulham one, has gone to Ahmed SK. We've also seen a move for Aaron Connolly. He's made the move to another club. We don't know yet who that will be. Carvalho, obviously, he's returned from his loan as well for Liverpool. So yeah, quite a few sales there for Hull. Not too many buys that have got me excited, but definitely I think Cody Drammer could be decent. In terms of Leeds, they've secured Joe Rodon, who was already there. Jaden Bogle's an interesting one, obviously from Sheffield United, decent player. And Joe Rothwell as well. Didn't get a lot of game time at Bournemouth, so that makes a lot of sense on loan. Archie Gray's a big miss though. He was really good for them, and now he's gone to Tottenham, so we'll see how he gets on. Of course, the main one is Somerville to West Ham, so a few big losses here. I think Sinistera, obviously we knew he was already at Bournemouth. You got Glenn Kamara moving on. Diego Llorente, which I think was always inevitable. Ayling has made the permanent move to Middlesbrough for a free transfer. We also see Sam Greenwood there going to Preston. So yeah, quite a lot of sales for Leeds, it has to be said. Then Luton Town back in the Championship where they should be, not in the Premier League. Thank you very much. Yeah, Shannon Baptiste is a good signing actually. Good player from Brentford, solid midfielder. And then of course Ross Barkley has gone back to Aston Villa. We've seen Ryan Giles, who we've talked about. Gabriel Osho has left. Luke Berry has left. So yeah, quite a few sales, but they've still managed to keep hold of the main figures of their team, the likes of Morris, and I think their strike force, if they do manage to keep hold of their main players like Adebayo, then it could be a decent season for them, but we'll have to wait and see. Middlesbrough, obviously Luke Ayling has come in. That's the main thing to be talking about. Liam Roberts has gone to Millwall, and Paddy McNair as well. Millwall, Japhet Tanganga, I really rate that as a transfer. He's, had quite a lot of different clubs, but a very solid player at centre-back. So, I think that could be a good signing. Lucas Jensen is interesting. He was a player who did really well for Lincoln City last season in League One. Watching him closely, going to a lot of Lincoln City games, I can tell you he's a very solid keeper. So, yeah, that's a really nice signing for Millwall, that. We'll see if he makes his debut in Watford's opening game on Saturday at the Den of the season. And we've also got for Norwich a few signings. Callum Doyle from Man City. It's a good signing. Very young talent, but I think he had a spell, Callum Doyle, at a few other clubs. I think, was it Sheffield United possibly? And I'm trying to think if that's Tommy Doyle. But there's been a few, options for these young Man City players, and now he's made the move to Norwich, so should be a good one. Also, they've sold Gabriel Sara, which is really going to hurt them, but of course it was inevitable. Going to Galatasaray. They've also then let go of Ben Gibson, who's joined Stoke City, and we also just talked about Callum Doyle. In terms of Oxford, with Oxford, I mean, yeah, he is one of those players, Louis Sibley. I think he's a very good signing, but let's see how he gets on. Very young still, but potential there for Oxford. Placheta is an interesting signing. Obviously, he's done well previously in the Championship. And also, I think that Matt Phillips is a really interesting signing. Obviously, 33, he's getting on, but we know how good he was for Crystal Palace, for QPR, and for West Brom. So could well do well there. Obviously, Josh Murphy's gone, so that's a shame for them. Also, moving on to Plymouth. A few interesting signings. Not many names I've heard of, though, to be honest. Maybe that's just me. But in terms of their sales, I mean, yeah. Michael Miller, Callum Burton, not too many names I'm too familiar with, I'm afraid. For Portsmouth, then, Matt Ritchie is a big one. Obviously, ex-Portsmouth player, returning to his old club. Makes sense that transfer on a free from Newcastle wasn't getting the game time. Yeah, he'll be a welcome addition, I'm sure. Josh Murphy, who we just mentioned, good signing from Oxford. And then we've also got Jacob Farrell, who's a very solid left back. I think he could do a good job. In terms of outgoings then, for Portsmouth, you've got the likes of Josh Martin from the left wing position. Also, Harry Jewett-White has gone to Crusaders. So, yeah, a few interesting buys and sales there. Sam Greenwood we talked about, good signing from Leeds for Preston. Ben Woodburn has gone. He's moved on to Salford. Sam Greenwood the same. I don't know why it says Sam Greenwood, because I think it's a loan. But anyway, the point is he will eventually leave when it's the end of his loan next season. It's a bit confusing the way they've laid it out. QPR, in terms of incomings, not that excited by much of those signings, to be honest. Sinclair Armstrong's obviously a big miss, as is Chris Willock. Obviously, Adama was bound to leave at some point at the age of 36. And Asmir Begovic has gone as well, of course. Sheffield United. Now, Kiefer Moore's a good signing. Obviously, did well at Ipswich last season. Just hasn't been getting the minutes at Bournemouth, and he's moved on to another club. So let's see if he gets the minutes this time, and if Sheffield United get promoted again, does he stay there? Who knows? Callum O'Hare, who we already mentioned, really good signing. He did so well for Coventry in the spells he was at the club, so I think he can just carry that on at Sheffield United. Alfie Gilchrist, which is a really nice signing. Obviously, young Chelsea fullback centre back, who got minutes last season, scored a goal against Everton, I believe. So yeah, looking a really promising player. But yeah, it's good to see him get some minutes elsewhere, because he's just not going to get minutes at Chelsea under Maresca. So yeah, a good signing there. And then Harry Souttar, of course, has come to Sheffield United after being previously at Leicester. I think it's a good move for him on loan. Then we've got some outgoings for Sheffield United. Bogle we've mentioned. Max Lowe has left for Sheffield Wednesday. Also Fotheringham's gone to West Ham. Osborne's gone to Derby. Jefferson's gone to Bournemouth. McBurney's gone. Baldock's gone. A lot of outgoings. John Egan, Oliver Norwood. It's a complete rebuild here. And of course, Yasser Larouci has gone to Watford, because yes, he's ended his loan at Troyes. He's come to Watford on loan. And Brereton Diaz has joined Southampton. So yeah, interesting stuff there. A big window for Sheffield United for sure. Sheffield Wednesday, though, in terms of their signings, Max Lowe is one of them. Jamal Lowe is another. So they like their lows this window. Nathaniel Chalobah is a really interesting buy from West Brom on a free transfer. So yeah, they could be some good signings there at Sheffield Wednesday. In terms of outgoings, obviously George Byers, ex-Watford boy. He's gone to Port Vale. We've also seen with Stoke, Sam Gallagher come in, Ben Gibson as well. And in terms of outgoings, the main one there really is Kieran Clark. Has moved on from Stoke, and Tyrese Campbell as well. Sunderland, Poveda obviously did well at Leeds. He's now made the move. In terms of outgoings, though, I mean, Bradley Dack is the main one, isn't it? It didn't last long with Sunderland, but he's gone. And then we move to Swansea, and Vigouroux is an interesting one. Obviously, Burnley goalkeeper wasn't getting enough minutes, so you can understand that move. In terms of outgoings for the Swans, I mean, yeah, the main one is Placheta, to be honest, to go to Oxford. Let's see how much that's a miss. Obviously, talked about Jerry Yates already. He's gone to Derby County. So yeah, interesting moves there. Now, my club, Watford. Can't say it's been a great window. I have to say, it's been quite quiet. Not a lot of incomings. We know that we're pretty much broke at this point. Outgoings, not as many as I feared, which is a relief. Obviously, we know two are definitely happened / going to happen. One is Ismail Kone, gone to Marseille, and the other is Yasser Spria. Unfortunately, he will move on. Just about where now? I think it's going to be Leicester, but it's not confirmed yet. It's just we know he's not going to stay before the window. So, yeah, in terms of incomings, look, Kai Almeida is supposedly a good centre-back, but he's 19, so can't give too much expectation on the kid. Rocco Vatta's one I'm excited about, though. I think him from Celtic, he's an exciting young striker who has got a lot of flexibility. He's looked great in pre-season, so I'm hoping he can be a good signing for us. And I just love the Rocco Vatta chant, to be honest. I'm trying to remember what it is now. I've forgotten it. But yeah, search it up. Rocco Vatta chant. It is quality. Musa, of course, is back. What do I think of this move? I don't know. It's a bit of a interesting one. I don't think he's the player he was when he joined us previously in the Premier League. Even then, I don't think he was the best player for us. He was solid, don't get me wrong, but he's not amazing. So he's definitely going to be a utility player, I think. You know, hopefully just scrapping it around in that midfield. A little bit like Livermore was last season for us. So, I don't know. Let's hope he can return to those levels we can see him play at. But it's one of those ones. It could easily not pay off. Mamadou Doumbia, I mean, yeah, will he play? Probably not. He's been given clearance to be back in the squad by some reason, even though there's a problem with his work permit or something. So, yeah, let's ignore that one for now. Yasser Larouci, though, that's one I'm actually excited about. He's a solid player. I know he's not torn up trees at his previous clubs. In Sheffield United, he did look okay, but that was a struggling team, so you got to put that into context. You know, he was a decent player, and the players around him just weren't up to the levels. So I think he could be a good signing. We needed desperately a left back because we've just not got enough depth there at all. We still need more full backs, to be honest, and more centre backs, more strikers. We need everyone because we're just so thin at the moment. Another striker would be great, but I just don't see it happening. So yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, a fullback is much welcome because, yeah, like I said, we just got no depth there at all. With Ngakia, just always injured, it seems. We've got on the left, Sema just doesn't work on the left. He's just not a left back. It's as simple as that. I mean, Andrews was good last season, but you can't rely on him all the time. So we have to have options. We have to have options in both fullback positions, and he gives that. Young player. Let's hope that loan transfer, is successful. Antonio Tikvic obviously was a player we scouted, a trialist we were looking at and seeing if he was good enough. He's been involved in pre-season, and now we've made the move. So look, 20 years of age, loan move. Let's see how he gets on. He's obviously not been amazing in pre-season, but he's very young, and we have to give him time to bed in. Another Udinese product, so let's see how Tikvic can get on. And of course, Jonathan Bond, he's back after a long time away. Bit of a cult hero, really. Even though he's never been number one choice, he's always been a solid backup back in the promotion years around 2014-15. A bit before that, he was a legend of the club, really. But yeah, he's a solid option. Don't get me wrong. Not an amazing goalkeeper, but as a backup, we take it. We absolutely take it. Ben Haim has also moved on, and he's gone to Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, a few interesting acquisitions really for us. And yeah, Livermore's also moved on, which we knew was likely, as did Mateus Martins back to Udinese. So yeah, West Brom. There's some interesting moves. Lewis Dobbin is the main one from Everton, or it says Aston Villa here actually, but I thought it was Everton. Anyway, Dobbin, could be a decent little player. Paddy McNair, we know, is solid. Okay Kushlu has left. We've got Connor Townsend has gone to Ipswich. and also Jan and Via has gone to Cayenne. We talked about Phillips and Chalobah. Kipre has gone. Peters has gone. Again, a lot of sales here for West Bromwich Albion. And that's that for the transfers this summer. So, in terms of where I rate these clubs, where will they finish at the end of the season? Well, you're going to find out right about now. So, first up, who am I saying will lift the title come May 2025? Well, I've had a real think about this, and I've come to the conclusion that I think it will be none other than... No, I'm not going to put Sunderland in 19th to 21st. Just relax, I'm joking. It will be none other than... No. Who is going to come in top spot? I don't know, man. I'm just putting in some of these teams that I think will probably end up there. But who ends up in top spot? That is the question. I'm going to say... Oh, sorry, hang on. We got a bit of a technical here. Technical difficulty. Are we good? I think we're good. Yeah. We're back. What are we going to say? Oh, this is annoying. I'm just going to put you there. There you go. What are we saying then? I think we say probably Leeds United. Leeds United will top the league. And I'll tell you for why. Because they're going to have a reset. Somerville's gone. Oh dear. Sorry about that, people. What just happened? Deary me. Okay. We're back. Sorry about that, people. Yeah. Leeds United, I just think they're going to do it. I just think they're going to come back stronger than ever. And they're going to finish in top spot. Middlesbrough, they had a decent go at it last season. I think they'll get automatic. I think they'll be back in the Prem. The next team that will sneak into the playoffs, I think, not Bristol City. Instead, I'm going to go for Coventry City. I genuinely think Coventry City are going to finish in third this year because every season I've said they're a decent side, they've got to get in the playoffs soon. And the year they did get in the playoffs, they got to the final and lost to Luton. So, yeah, I think it's time for them to get in the playoffs. Whether they'll win the playoffs, I don't know. But that's just where I think Coventry City will end up. Next up, Burnley. Now, Burnley, for me, I think they'll be quite disappointed to not get in the automatics. But this is where I think they'll finish. Because, obviously, Scott Parker's now the manager. They will feel that it's been a bit of a yo-yo period for them. We know this is the case. But I just worry that their team is just starting to lose a bit of momentum. Now, obviously, Company going, you know, he's good at getting teams promoted, it seems, but going to Bayern Munich was not on the likely scenarios. So, I don't know with Burnley. I just fear for them that they won't get automatic. But would they take playoffs? Possibly. Now, next up, we're going for this team, and that is Derby County. I'm putting them in there because, look, I think they'd absolutely snap your hand off for a 18th spot, and I think that's where they're going to finish. So that's where we're going for that. Next up, it is West Bromwich Albion. Now, with West Brom, I think they are going to actually have a really good season. So I'm going to put them in the 7th to 10th bracket, and we'll finalise this once all the clubs have gone. I think they're going to be in amongst it this season. Next club we're going for is Cardiff City. I think they'll struggle at points this season. I think it will be a tough season for them. So that's where I'm cutting them at the moment. Next up, QPR. We're also going to put them in this spot because, again, I just don't see them shoring up defensively. I think it's going to be another tough season for them. Next up, my club, Watford. Now, I'd love to put us in the playoffs, but do I actually think it's going to happen? No. So, I'm going to say 7th to 10th. Now, a lot of Watford fans are worried we're going to be in a relegation battle this season, and I don't actually blame them for that. But I'm just convinced that we should have a strong enough team to finish in and amongst the playoffs. Not quite get the playoffs, but at least it would be an improvement on our last season finish of 15th, which was a real shame the way we ended the season. Because yes, we won that last day of the season game, at home against Sunderland, but then we lost against Middlesbrough. But yes, the season at the end wasn't a nightmare, but it also wasn't ideal, and we know we can do better. Under Cleverly, if we're going to get promoted at any point soon, we need to build momentum, and we can't simply get promoted this season. If we do, then I would be absolutely crazy, and I'll have a party, and you're all invited. But if we don't, then I think that's more logical and more realistic, so we build momentum going into next 25-26 season. So that's why I'm saying just be solid, have some sort of momentum built under Cleverly, and then we go again. Next team we're going for is going to be Millwall. Now Luton, I'm going to put a bit higher up here. It pains me to say it, but Luton are going to be in the playoff spots. Unfortunately. They are just going to be. Now, with regards to Millwall, I think they're going to have another okay season. They're not going to rip up any trees. But I think, it will be an okay season for Millwall. Next up, Sheffield United. Now, for me, this might be controversial, but I don't think they're going to get playoffs. Now, I talked about all the players that had left. Quite a lot. And when that happens, I just think it's a massive challenge to string together a team that can build back an identity all of a sudden. Now, don't get me wrong, Sheffield United are a solid side, but are they better than some of those teams I've put higher than them? On current squad, I'm not sure they are. So that's why I've gone for that. Next up, we're going to have the next team in there, and that is Hull City. We're putting them in the 11th to 14th spot because every season I say Hull are going to struggle this year, and every season they find a way to not. Now, Philogene a massive loss. I think Tufan is to an extent as well because he did well last season. But I still think, even though the sacking of what's his name? Rosenmoir is a real weird one. Rossinia, not Rosenmoir, Rossinia. I still think this team just has a way to defy the odds. Now, next team, Norwich City. I think they're going to finish in the playoffs. And the reason I think that is because despite losing Sarah, I just think that Norwich team, they know how to score goals. Last season in the playoffs, it didn't quite work, but I just think they're too strong to not have another strong season. So I'd be surprised if they weren't in around the mix again. The next team I've gone for is the following. Oh, hang on. Sorry, bear with. Sunderland. What say we about Sunderland? Well, I think Sunderland FC are going to have a troublesome season. Hence, they are going to be 19th to 21st. They're going to be in 21st spot. And Sunderland fans come at me, but I've just had a feeling that something's building there that's not pleasant. And this could be the season that it rears its ugly head. And I think you'll stay up, but I don't think it'll be easy. Next up, Preston North End. We're putting them in 14th. The reason we're putting them in 14th is simply every season I look at them and think, I'm not that excited by you, Preston. I'm sorry, but you just got to do more for me to excite me and put you higher up the table. Don't get me wrong, solid side, well managed, but I just don't think they're going to make a push for the playoffs this year. Next up, the next team we've got is Blackburn Rovers. And I think it's going to be another season of frustration for Blackburn, because a lot of the time I look at Blackburn and think they are a decent side, but it never materialises, and I think that's a concern. I think that is a real concern. So that's where I'm going to put them. Now, next team, Oxford United. Now, you might think this is just an easy way out, but no, we're not going to put them staying up. Oxford United, I'm afraid, you're going to go back down to League One, because it's just too much of a chasm to stay up, in my opinion. Too much of an ask. Too fresh of a team in this division. Now, Derby County is staying up, you might ask, and why is that? Well, I think they've actually recruited really well. Oxford United, I think that it would be quite a shock to see them stay up. And fair play if they do, but I don't see it personally. Okay. So, what does this mean? This means we've got two clubs left. Portsmouth and Plymouth. Now, you might say this is crazy, but I think Portsmouth are going to be this season's wildcard team. Coming up from the League One, and then Plymouth in there at the bottom. So that's my table, and I'm not going to change it. That's simply my table. Let me justify why Portsmouth are going to be so good. They are just a fantastic football team. They score goals, they keep goals out, and I'm just really impressed with their philosophy, their style, and their determination to get the job done. So that's my table. Let me know how wrong or how right you think I will be come May in 2025. So to run it down once again, we've got Leeds winning the title, Middlesbrough in second, automatic promotion. In third, Coventry. In fourth, Burnley. In fifth, Luton Town. And in sixth, Norwich City. And I think I've decided promoted through the playoffs will be Norwich City. Then, in seventh, West Brom. In eighth, Watford. In ninth, Sheffield United. In 10th, Portsmouth. 11th, Bristol City. 12th, Millwall. 13th, Hull. 14th, Preston. 15th, Swansea. 16th, Derby. 17th, Cardiff. 18th, Blackburn. 19th, Stoke. 20th, QPR. 21st, Sunderland. Then, finally, we've got in 22nd, Sheffield Wednesday. 23rd, Oxford United. 24th, Plymouth Argyle. So those are our championship predictions for the 2024-25 season. But now, what we're going to do is give you my score predictions for match week number 1. It's an all-in-one video. I bet you absolutely love to see it. So, first round of fixtures then in the championship for the upcoming campaign are quite intriguing, I think. Quite intriguing. The reason I say this is because if you look at the fixtures, the first one up is the opener. And we've got 2 games on the Friday. Preston, Sheffield United and Blackburn, Derby County. Now, if I do ascertain that both Preston and Sheffield United will have okay-ish seasons, I think the logical deduction here is that this game will end in a draw. Now, Blackburn against Derby County, both teams having similar seasons. Again, they will end up with a draw. So I'm going to say Preston North End 1, Sheffield United 1, and then Derby County 0, Blackburn Rovers 1-0 is my two predictions for Friday's games. Cardiff Sunderland. I think Cardiff will have a good season. And I'll say 1-0 to Cardiff here against Sunderland. QPR West Brom. West Brom will be a solid team this season. QPR 0, West Brom 2. Middlesbrough Swansea. We're going for a 3-1 win to Middlesbrough. Leeds United Portsmouth. Leeds will absolutely sweep up here. 2-0 to Leeds. Then we've got Watford away to Millwall. I think this is going to be a narrow 1-2 victory for Watford. Goal scorers here. First goal, it's going to be a debut goal for Rocco Vata. Then Leeds equalise through their very good player that, to be fair, is just a problem for a lot of Championship defences. And that is Mr. Brennan Aronson. Oh yes, Aronson is going to score for Leeds United. No, I'm joking. He doesn't actually have a chance of scoring. Instead, it's going to be Mr. Weston McKennie. Jokes. He plays for Juventus. Now, I'm joking. Just relax. Okay? The actual goal scorer in this Watford game for Millwall, and I'm talking about Leeds players, makes a lot of sense, is going to be... Oh, who's it going to be? Trying to think of Millwall players here. Yeah, okay, we're going to say it's Kevin Nisbet who will score the goal for Millwall. But then the second Watford goal, let's go for Tom Dele-Bashiru. This is going to be his season, like it was last season. Okay, my next prediction then, for match week 1, is going to be Oxford United 0, Norwich City 2, Stoke City 1, Coventry City 3, Hull City 2, Bristol City 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Plymouth Argyle 2, and Luton Town 3, Burnley 3. Should be an absolute firecracker on the Monday Night Football. So, those are our predictions for the opening round of fixtures in match day 1. Let's see how those predictions get on, and of course, let's see how my season predictions get on. But, ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen the leaked table for the 24-25 season right here. Let's see if I am Mystic Meg.